Welcome back, everyone, to another explainer where we take complex narratives and break them down piece by piece. We spend a lot of time looking at the action, but today we're decoding a really crucial piece of Supa Strikas lore, the Vince philosophy. We're going to examine one of the absolute most tense, layered, and honestly revealing interactions in the entire series. Okay, let's dive into this and start decoding the mystery surrounding Shake's dad.
Where is Shake's dad? Where is Jomo? That is the question, isn't it? It's the central tension. It's the massive mystery that drives so much of the underlying narrative. And it is exactly the question that is just burning a hole in Skarra's mind. Just put yourself in Skarra's shoes for a second here. You want answers. You need concrete information. You are demanding to know, definitively, where this man is and what on earth is going on behind the scenes. You are pushing, you're pressing, and you want a straight, factual answer right this second.
Which brings us to part 1, the setup, Skarra's suspicion.
So Skarra is incredibly agitated here. His suspicion is totally peaking, and he's aggressively pushing Vince for concrete facts regarding Jomo's whereabouts. But what we get is basically a psychological boxing match. Skarra attacks with these really direct, demanding questions. He wants facts. But Vince doesn't get defensive. Actually, scratch that. He doesn't just not get defensive, he completely disarms the situation. He effortlessly parries Skarra's aggressive demands with pure philosophy, keeping the whole thing shrouded in mystery.
Moving into part 2, the anchor, Vince's cryptic philosophy. Let's deliberately slow down for a second and look at the exact line of dialogue here.
Sometimes you want your rivals close, and other times you want them very, very far away. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is that Vince's words are not just some casual remark. No way. This is a carefully crafted way of speaking that totally reveals his mindset. He is essentially explaining exactly how he views control over his rivals without directly admitting a single concrete fact about what he actually knows regarding Jomo.
Let's look at part 3, the deconstruction, power through positioning, and see how this builds our understanding of his tactical mindset. And this brilliantly illustrates that for Vince, power doesn't just come from brute force, it comes from tactical positioning. Think about it. Keeping a rival close means you can watch them like a hawk, influence their decisions, and react instantly if they make a move against you. But on the flip side, keeping them very, very far away means removing their ability to interfere entirely. You isolate them so they absolutely cannot affect your grand plans or challenge your authority.
So when Vince delivers this philosophical gem to Skarra, he is deliberately not giving a straight answer. Instead, he's implying that he understands exactly where Jomo is, or, at the very least, that he has the ultimate ability to decide just how close or distant Jomo remains in the bigger picture. It's this incredibly controlled, indirect way of saying that knowledge and distance are tools of power, and Vince is the one pulling the strings.
All right, on to part 4, weaponizing ambiguity. Let's shift our focus away from Jomo's physical location and look at the psychological state in the room.
You see, Vince is actively forcing profound uncertainty upon Skarra. That ambiguity, that is exactly the point. Ambiguity here is a controlled, indirect way of communicating designed specifically to keep rivals guessing. He is quite literally transforming a complete lack of factual information into a devastating tool of power.
Let's systematically break down the specific tactical advantages Vince gets by playing this card. By actively choosing not to give a straight answer. First, he keeps Skarra completely uncertain. Second, he maintains total control of the narrative. Third, he successfully hoards all this critical knowledge about Jomo. And finally, and this is the kicker, he never actually directly admits to knowing anything at all.
So the crucial point is that this creates a simple, totally unbreakable loop. Ambiguity keeps Skarra uncertain, and uncertainty keeps Vince firmly in control. Vince's dominance relies entirely on managing that knowledge and distance. As long as Skarra doesn't have the facts, he remains completely at Vince's mercy. Which leaves us with a truly chilling thought to wrap up our explainer today. We've just seen an absolute masterclass in Machiavellian logic, all based on a single line of dialogue. We've seen how Vince effortlessly controls a rival through the sheer power of what he chooses not to say. So I leave you with this question. If Vince wields positioning and ambiguity this perfectly in a seemingly simple conversation, what else is he controlling from the shadows? Think about how this framework applies to every other rivalry and mystery in the series. It's a real game changer. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep analyzing those details, and I will see you next time.